take a look at your data, we'll take a look at your process.
Right.
Oh, no, it's all good. We looked at it, it was good. Trust me. That's what Grace Galucci said. We looked at it, we're good. We had professionals, Hunter Morrison, never mind. Hunter Morrison, he's good, and we looked at it, and we all thought it was good. And so we're all good. I think that they're taking lessons from the president. Did you hear his conversation about healthcare yesterday? It's all good. It's good. The plan's good. Yeah, it's all good. The outline thing, well, that's not so good. But everything else is good. And so we're all good. And so that's what they said. So they're baking that already into NOACA's processes, and it will just become part of what they think about. Right now, the government environmental justice process is baked into their thought process. I started telling you the guardrail story in Geauga County. I got sidetracked mentally. When we implemented those guardrails, one of the things we had to do was an environmental justice study. We had to have a whole board here. We had to bring people in at a cost for those people to ensure that we weren't violating environmental justice.
With guardrails?
With guardrails, yeah, we were putting them in Geauga County. Now, first of all, environmental justice primarily has to do with minorities, okay? So it's you're not unfairly or not equitably treating a minority class. We don't have a large cluster of minorities in Geauga County.
We'll get
That's just, well, that's happening, that's part of it. But we were required to do that. It's the same thing within USCC. Their thought process, what they want to do, they're just going to slip it in there. This whole concept of compact housing. Even though NOACA, that's not part of their charter, is housing. Because transportation needs to be built to be efficient and effective, of course we would want to do housing near transportation that was, so it was, we had to plan it that way.
How compact is it going to be?
Don't watch this hand.
Yes.
And so this is part of their plan to go after more funding in USCC. So they're going after foundations, $150,000. They want project-based, whatever that means. They want to get $50,000 from the NPOs, $90,000 from business memberships. They're looking for $125,000 for government. That's their plan to enable their toolkit. So while they're telling you one thing, they're doing something else. That's the message I'm trying to tell you. You don't need to know all of the details behind this. What you need to understand is what they're telling you is one thing, what they're doing is another. And we need to understand who they are, what the root is, because if you understand what the root is, then you understand where they're going, what they're trying to get to. And if we're going to counter what they're attempting to do, we need to understand who they are. And what their ideology is, and what their objectives are, and what their goals are, and what the way that they talk. Because there's Saul Alinsky. Now I will share with you, and I promise you this happened. I promise you this happened. I won't tell you who told me this, but I'll promise you this happened. After an NHCC meeting in downtown Cleveland, I was having a conversation in the parking lot with a certain bureaucrat that I won't mention their name. And they were trying to convince me I was wrong. And they said to me, Skip, you should be more afraid of the Chinese communists than the communists that are in NUSCC. Now, that caught me off guard. They knew that I did a lot of traveling in Communist China one time because I brought it up and mentioned it a few times. And so I said, look, I'm afraid of all communists. Communism as an ideology is a bad ideology.
It's evil.
But what caught me off guard about that was they recognized that within their own organization they have people that think in that way. I was so shocked. I didn't even know what to say to that comment. I was kind of like, I didn't get caught off guard very often, but I was caught off guard by that comment. So it is a battle of ideologies. Make no mistake about it. We are in a battle for the future of this country. And look around this room. Look at the ages. Now I'm very happy to see we've got some young people in this room. Generally, when I come into a room, you've got people on respirators and it's not a vital and resilient room. But we're the only hope. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I'm in that category. And so, if it's not for, it is our time. It is our time to defend this country. And if we don't do that, if we don't fill more rooms like this, because we can upset their apple cart. If you go to a NOACA meeting, they do not know how to handle us. They do not know how to handle us. When we went to the NAOCC meeting in Warrensville, for the first time we spoke up, for the very first time. They've never been challenged. They called the police. They didn't know what to do. So they said, well, wait a minute, somebody asked a question. Call the police. Really? Honest to goodness. Now, had it not been for the fact that there were 30 or 40 people in that room who supported one another from different places in the room, then I could have been carted off. But because there were people that chimed in and said, wait a minute, he's right. Wait a minute, they're right. Wait a minute. Then they didn't know what to do because they had too many people in it. If you go, the next NOACA meeting, they had law enforcement from Cleveland at that NOACA meeting thinking, now they think that we are like them, we're not. Everybody that shows up at a NOACA meeting and an NAOC meeting are respectful. We ask hard questions. We're not, we may not sit down, we may speak out of turn sometimes, but, we're not violent people, we don't jump up on tables, we don't throw things, we don't squirt things, that kind of stuff.
Not yet.
And so they don't really know exactly how to handle us. And so we throw them off guard, that helps. If I can get more people to go to the, if you get people in the NOACA meeting and they circle that room, keep in mind that your elected officials are in that room.
Where do they have
If Dan Troy, at the NOACA building, it's at 1300, 1300 East 13th Street in downtown Cleveland, Superior and East 13th. 10 o'clock, second Fridays of the month. You can go to the NOACA website and they show you the dates that they're going to meet. But I can tell you, Dan Troy and all of your elected officials are at that table. If they thought that their decisions didn't map with their next elected opportunity, they might change their behavior a bit.
Not Dan Troy.
So, maybe not Dan Troy, okay, he's the exception. But some of you other elected officials. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on those. All right, so, and by the way, here's a point, and it just sticks in the craw of a few people, so I'm going to mention this to you if you just want to have some fun. Grace Gallucci's biggest problem with me is I call her and some of the other people unelected and unaccountable. And they are unelected and unaccountable. They're appointed individuals. They're not elected by me. They're not accountable to me. They're accountable to the board. And the board nullifies or dilutes the accountability equation. So in Geauga County, we have 3 votes out of 44. Cleveland has 23 votes out of 44. Cuyahoga County, Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, 23 votes. Guess who rules where all of NOACA's money goes to, what they do, what their objectives are, and what is the ideology of Cleveland? It is not Geauga County ideology. And so, anyway, if you say unaccountable, unelected, it doesn't, they don't like that. But that's what they are. That's what NAOCC is. We're creating a cast of individuals who are impacting our futures and our lives, who we do not elect, who we cannot hold accountable. I can reach out to Ron, I can reach out to Matt, I can reach out to John Eklund in our county, I can reach out to our county commissioners. If I don't like what they're doing, I can create a movement that we can replace them with people who do agree with where I'm going. And if enough people agree, we'll have the kinds of people that we need in there. We can't do that with these employees. We have to replace 44 people, and I can't replace anybody in Cleveland because nobody there agrees with me.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll mention one other thing. I know we're running short. This is the map of all over the United States where they've got these regional efforts going on. And that's a comment on the bottom out of the HUD document. I won't go into that. I do want to talk about one thing, though. The difference between regionalism and collaboration. This shows you the imbalance in votes. Cleveland, 223 in this particular workshop. Geauga County, 9. Wayne County, 4. Akron, 100. So you see who's making the recommendations
Yeah.
and where the direction of those recommendations are going to. You can infer what the direction of those recommendations is going to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the concept of regionalism versus collaboration, because our governor is a big proponent of quote-unquote regionalism, but not really, I hope. Regionalism is really it is an unelected, unaccountable bureaucracy that creates a master plan for you.